And welcome back. Thanks again, Joey, for coming.
Yeah, in case you guys don't know, a couple weeks have passed between the last time we recorded an episode together and today.
Yeah. So that's why this feels extra special, a reunion of sorts.
Yep.
Much like how Zoey 102 or 101 had a reunion.
Yeah, people talk about how the reboot or reunion shows are never as good as the source material, and that's true. Mm-hmm. But I'm happy we got a Zoey 101 reboot. I'm glad we got it, even though
I think
it's widely received negatively.
Really?
People don't like it. Like its
I'm
reviews
not that
are
surprised.
Poor. I'm just glad we got it.
I'm not even
it's
gonna
cool.
we're gonna talk about Zoey 102. Spoiler warnings, but also I don't feel bad saying any spoilers because I don't think people care.
No, at this point, this came out last year.
Yeah.
If you wanted to see it, you've seen it.
Yeah.
Or
if you didn't want to see it, you don't even know that it's out.
Yeah, exactly. Some people just might not know it exists.
Yeah. If you're really that intent, stop the video, stop listening right now. Watch the movie, get back to us.
Yep. It's 90 minutes. It's quick.
It's fun. I like that you gave me a bit of warning that the beginning is slow and then the rest is good.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people watched the first 20 minutes and tuned off, and I did the first time.
Yeah, I would have done so too because I was just like, okay, no, I don't like this.
It once again reminds me of something that was true in the original show. Zoey was one of the least interesting characters.
That's true. So, I don't know if this is the best way to express this thought, but I made a lot of BuzzFeed quizzes.
Okay.
And some of them went popular. And part of what I pride myself in is asking questions that are completely unrelated to the topic, but still can tell you identify certain characteristics that match whatever the quiz is about.
Okay.
And one category I just always categorize as main character syndrome. And it's best defined by not having any sort of interest to it. It's just bland, surface level on everything, extremely impressionable.
You're describing Zoey, Carly, and Tori.
Yeah, they have the least amount of characters written because they're just main character.
They sort of just react to
if
the people around them.
someone says you have main character energy, you may not know it, they may not know it, it's an insult.
It's an insult for these shows. These characters are pretty... These characters, a good way to say, they just react to stuff that happens around them.
Mm-hmm. I will say...
They're like sponges.
It does make Zoey feel like a normal character. She does feel like a normal person.
Totally, yeah, in this show, yeah.
It's still her fault that she's not interesting.
I mean, that's pretty consistent with the Nick main characters, like Carly, Tori.
I would say, a lot of just shows in general probably have that.
Which is so weird. Why is your main character the most boring character?
So, one thing that I did hear, which isn't exactly the answer, but Jeffrey calls it, I think he calls it, the Kramer theory, or, the Joey theory, where it's, you have, a funny, goofy character that everybody loves. Like Joey from Friends, Kramer from
Kramer, yes.
You could never have a show with them as the main character. It's not going to go well. It's like Planet Sheen.
That's true.
It's just, they're having a character who is interesting and funny, they aren't able to hold a plot down. They're a spice to a meal. And
that's a good way of looking at it, yeah.
I feel like you can have a good show without that. Even I haven't watched a lot of It's Always Sunny, but I feel like all of them are interesting characters with mix of character flaws and things like that. And all of them could have their own episode where they're driving the plot and it's fine.
A good example of what you're describing is how Gibby could never have his own show. They tried it. They tried it.
That's very true. And then
but he's a great character on iCarly.
Sam, if she had her own spin-off, it would have been good. But the fact that it was Sam and Kat making Kat a main character, I think the reason why it devolved.
Yeah.
Because I think, you may know this, the quote-unquote Sam pilot, or the Sam spinoff, was supposed to be her as a guidance counselor or something at a school. And she's
how ironic. Yeah. She's going to guide people to success in life?
Well, it's essentially because she's learned so much from being on the wrong path. She helps this group of delinquent kids.
Oh, okay.
Stuff like that. So be a really good, solid arc for her character of how she's changed as an adult.
Yeah.
With just a new set of kids and it's still getting that thing. That is so much more of a grounded show than these two people that never knew each other live on corners of the country
are just moving in together.
And starting their own babysitting service, and also commit multiple acts of child endangerment as they do it.
Right, of course.
Like,
Again, another crime is funny.
Yeah.
Crime's funny.
Actually, no, I was going to get into slang, and then it just would have been us talking about iCarly. That's not what today is about.
Well, speaking of a show where I can't name off the top of my head crimes they've committed is Zoey 101.
That's not true.
Oh, okay.
We've both watched Zoey 102, and apparently, didn't they say like PCA wasn't a legit school?
Oh, right. Okay, so so in the PCA movie, and they I think this is the case because they couldn't get filming rights to Pepperdine University, which is where they shot it.
Right.
So they've explained it in this reboot as this was never an accredited school. Dean Rivers was just pocketing the money, and it was a complete sham, and they shut it down.
Yeah.
That's why they couldn't go there.
Were they able to go to college? Like, I guess they got like a proper education. They were actual teachers.
Well, this is what it makes no sense. If this was a scam school, then the education they got wasn't a real education. And this goes into like my idea for a reboot, which I think would have been way better. Mm-hmm. Is let's say that's the case. This wasn't a real school. My idea for a reboot originally was 10 years or whatever, how many years later, 20 years later, they find out that they needed a class to graduate that they never took. And it's some ridiculous class.
I like
and
that.
To get their high school diplomas, they all need to go back to PCA and take this one class. And they're so like different from all the other high schoolers, and it's like kind of funny, and they kind of just all have a reunion. I think that's way better than what they did.
I love that idea so much.
And it would be like some dumb class like health or
it's like giving Community, like how it's just like a bunch of adults taking stupid classes.
Yeah, and it's like so ridiculous that they all need to go back and take this class, but they can't graduate without it technically.
I think I might work on that as a potential plot. If I end up writing something, I'm going to send it to you.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Like, there's so much room for that.
Yeah.
Room for ideas.
That's so much better
because
than what
that
we
gets
got.
the entire cast back in that setting where the show was originally, and it makes sort of sense.
Yeah. I mean, it's outlandish, but, like, in a way a sitcom very much can be.
Exactly.
And I think part of the reason why Zoey 102 is so bland at the beginning is because it's kind of just Zoey.
It is just Zoey. We don't see anyone else
on
for like 20 minutes.
And then, like, she's, like, looking at their social medias and, like, all of her friends having fun without her.
That's funny.
But because she just doesn't talk to anyone.
They kind of make her a loser in this
which she kind of was.
Which she kind of was.
Like, I guess it makes, like, for the satisfying ending of, like, oh, now she's in charge of what this new show's gonna be. And, like, she, like, cool. That's a great arc. I could see the enjoyment in it. But it just made, like, me not care about Zoe Brooks anymore.
No, I honestly, like, I didn't really care about her in the show. She was just kind of there for everything.
Yeah, I mean, I think that goes into, like, the main character syndrome, but, like, it's much different. Like, the way that she was losing, it just felt like kind of her fault that, like, she's not reaching out to friends.
Yeah.
Like, she's working in a job where she's underappreciated. Like, that does happen to people.
That's real, yeah.
But I would have more respect if she was just, like, quit.
Yeah.
I think that would make for a more intriguing thing. Whereas Zoe in the show, she's just a normal person. She doesn't do anything really that wrong.
No.
And like, I can actually root for her character.
Yeah, and especially like the main point of the show was just the relationship between Zoe and Chase. Mm-hmm. Like that was like that just tied all the seasons together. Yeah. That was like the overarching plot, which I feel like most of those other Nickelodeon shows don't have a show like Zoey 101 where you really see these characters evolve throughout multiple seasons. It's not like, all right, we're going to start an episode, this is going to happen, this is going to conclude, and we're never going to talk about this again.
So one of the things that Jason and I talked about on our Big Time Rush episode is like how poor a representation the relationships were. And if you go to, or essentially what I compared against them was Quinn and Logan.
Yeah.
Because Quinn and Logan were both very flawed individuals that were made better by being in a relationship. Mm-hmm. Like, Logan was borderline just unenjoyable, like, hateable to a degree.
Yeah.
Depending on the episode.
One of the best Logan episodes is actually the episode where he becomes poor because his dad just cuts off his credit card.
Yeah, like he buys a car.
That is like a satisfying episode. Yeah.
Even actually, one episode that I'm remembering now is like there's like a talk show that Zoey and Logan do where they just argue about things, and Logan just says the most incel misogynistic.
Oh, right. They
things.
have like a podcast, like an early iteration of a podcast.
It's like, we can't have a woman be president. She'd be like, blah, 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 and then just blow up a country because she's upset.
You're right. That is like a word for word line from that show. That's great. Yeah, but the relationships are definitely more real.
Yeah.
Because this show is not a sitcom.
That's fair.
It's not a sitcom. There's no laugh track. Did you know that? There's no.
The thing is, I always just laugh tracks just sort of like go into the background for me. Like they might as well be invisible. I never recognize them.
That is the only show that it's non-existent. There's no laugh track. It's one of the only Nick shows that we talk about in that category that's shot at multiple camera angles.
Right.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
Did you know that?
I didn't recognize it, but like now that you mentioned
when
it,
there's a conversation going, it cuts to different camera angles of that same conversation.
Great.
It's like a drama more than a sitcom. And because of that, you focus on the characters way more. Which, like, it feels a lot more real than some of these other shows.
Yeah. After watching a lot of video essays on different shows, like, one of the main critiques that I get from the people watching is, like, how just, like, stuffy and locked it feels watching just, like, a 2-camera sitcom or something like that.
Yeah. It's, like, really, like, 2D.
And then, like, for like, specifically the Sweet Life on Deck and Wizards of Waverly Place, where they go from that to the movie, and just, like, the difference of seeing like multiple camera angles in the movie is just
makes a difference. Yeah,
it's so recognizable, and that makes sense. It makes me realize that Zoey 101 was a more quality show for that.
Yeah, and that was like new for them. They didn't try that before. Drake and Josh definitely didn't do that. Just focus on the character, and it's like other shows. It did take a while to get its footing. Season 1 was good, but it was kind of all over the place. Like in season 2, like the main cast is like Zoe, not the main female cast is Zoe.
Oh, they got rid of Dana.
Dana and Nicole.
Oh, was Dana still there at the time?
Dana was in season 1.
Okay.
Nicole might have been in season 2.
Nicole was in season 1 and 2.
Okay, then after season 2, she's out because they replaced Dana and Nicole with Lola and Quinn.
Right.
Like Quinn wasn't even like in Zoe's room at first. She was like that weird nerdy scientist character down the hall.
Like she leaves her room and joins Quinn's room, and then like Quinn does experiments on her in his sleep.
Yeah, Quinn was very much like a B character, like a B tier, like a B plot character for the first bit of the show.
I think she wouldn't be able to stand in A plots by herself if it weren't for Logan, like her dating Logan.
Yeah.
Even when she was dating Mark.
Mark was great. Mark is like the example of like.
I hate Mark so much.
But Mark's like an iconic non-main character. He's not a main character, but he's in that tier like right under that.
Yeah.
Where like he's in a bunch of episodes. He's funny as hell.
The thing is,
the way that he can have such like monotone reactions to like cheating on his girlfriend and getting broken up with.
And then like again, I guess we're just gonna keep on jumping to the 102 movie. My fault, but like Stacy and Mark for some reason are married, and she walks all over him. Yeah,
that was just so. That was one of those things where like I don't know if the previous Zoey 101 show paved the way for that at all.
No.
They just kind of like smushed those two characters together.
Because they probably asked the whole cast, like, if you want to come to the movie or not. And it was the people that said yes, and they're like, you know what, we'll make these two characters more interesting and make more sense. They're just dating. Yeah, they're married now.
Just one of those things where like I think the writers didn't take into account the previous 4 seasons of the show when they're thinking about writing a reboot.
A lot of like sitcom movies aren't written by the sitcom writers.
Are or not?
Are not.
Are not, yeah, wow.
I think it's because like the crafts of TV versus movie is seen as so different that like there's just not faith that the sitcom writers can write a good movie. So again, just thinking about Sweet Life on Deck, the movie, and the Wizards of Waverly Place, I think it was like actually part of the thing that like the head writer ended up rewriting most of the movie, and that's why it ended up so good, because a lot of it was very faithful. Okay. And then the MacGuffins that the new people wrote in, they stayed in, like the Wishing Rock or whatever. And Sweet Life on Deck, like they basically like do a lot of things that just disagree with canon. Like Zach was dating someone at the time, and then he's hitting on girls at the same time. Like that's a major plot point.
Oh, wow, really?
Like, like, even, like, Cody and Bailey, like, stuff was, like, weird. And like it was just very obvious that there was very little contribution from the writers on the show.
Yeah, no, I get that vibe with Zoey 101 and 102.
Yeah, because I don't. It feels very tonally different. But also, the head writer was Dan Schneider. I doubt they would let him touch.
They're not bringing Dan Oldboy back for this one.
So I think in that degree, they didn't even have a choice. They would have made the same choice, I think, but they didn't have a choice.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about like the relationships of the show. Some relationships that I feel like didn't work was Lola and Vince. Do you remember that?
Oh, wasn't he just like a hot guy who didn't have a personality?
No, he did have a personality. He was just like an absolute bad person.
Oh.
Vince Blake was the quarterback.
Okay.
So he's like one of those B characters too, where he's been around a lot of the show, and he just kind of like comes in the spotlight when he dates Lola at the end.
Okay.
He starts off with he's the quarterback. PCA is gonna win their new championship. Chase catches him taking pictures of the test to cheat.
Oh, now I can't even remember the guy's face, but I remember this exact plot line.
Yeah, so Chase like snitches on him. Mm-hmm. He gets academically suspended or whatever, can't play the game. PCA loses. Vince Blake and his football guys just beat Chase up. And actually, Logan and Michael came to defend him. So they beat all three of them up.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
I remember the aftermath.
So that's how we're introduced to him. And then he's just kind of around as like an extra.
Do you think Logan season 1 would do the same? Like, do you think that he was always the kind of person that would stand up for his guy? Or
no,
is that part of the
totally. And that's what's cool about it. He's transformed into a person that
I
would
could
do
see
that.
it either way, but definitely like I'm more leaning towards he wouldn't have done it.
He wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
No, he'd have a line about, I don't want to damage my beautiful face.
I couldn't damage this face.
Exactly.
This is the moneymaker.
Exactly. You should have written the show. So that's how we're introduced to the character, and then he's just kind of like around. Like there's a scene where like there's like a ban on coffee or whatever.
Yes.
And he's in that, and his coffee like explodes. So they just kind of use him around the seasons.
Yeah.
Just be like, look, continuity. This guy, he goes to the school, right? It's not just a new guy every time.
Yeah.
And then he all of a sudden like dates Lola for like the season finale when they go to prom, and I'm like, that just didn't feel worth it. No. There was no build up to that. The guy's like an asshole. He beat up like the main male characters.
I think. Do you have a favorite among the main cast, the guys and the girls?
You want a favorite guy and girl?
Sure, might as well.
Favorite guy is Michael.
Yeah, Michael definitely.
You know, Chase is. I don't. Michael's better.
Michael's just so funny and charismatic, like both the actor and the character.
Yeah.
Like just more so than the other two.
You know, I like Victoria Justice, but she wasn't like a standout as Lola.
No.
Nope. I'm gonna give two answers for this. I like the early seasons. Dana and Nicole, their banter was funny. They worked well together.
They like a lot of their conflict was very good for television.
Yeah, it's just crazy. They got rid of both of them.
I didn't like
for
Dana.
2 different reasons.
Yeah.
Well, Dana was supposed to be like the bitchy character.
Yeah, and like there were some times where she was just like a normal girl, but like it was kind of like she, in my eyes, she was still like very much protagonist, whereas Logan was the antagonist, like very clearly.
Now that you mention it, like Logan and Dana had arguments too, and that was also funny because they were just like grouchy people.
But I feel so because like I don't see Dana as an antagonist. She just gives a person that you would actually meet,
right?
But wouldn't like
exactly.
So like I can just be like, yeah, no, I hate Logan, but like. It stops there where it's just like I don't know. Is it more egregious, less egregious to have Dana there? I don't know.
The show feels very real in that sense, but yeah, they got rid of Dana after the first season because producers said she looked older than the rest of the cast.
Oh, I thought it was just like she didn't test well or something like that. But,
well, in their mind she didn't test well because she just looked older than the rest of them.
Right, and it's fair.
She was older than them. She was like 2 or 3 years older.
Like
Zoey
Zoey in that first season kind of looks like a child, like a 14-year-old.
Yeah,
and Dana looks.
I think Dana
at
was
least
like,
18.
I think the actress name was like Kristen Herrera. She was 18 when she started.
Yep,
so
there you go.
Yeah. And then they got rid of Nicole. I don't know why. There was definitely some like behind the scenes stuff there. I mean, she talks about it.
Yeah.
All the time. She has like her own show. She talks about like what she experienced as part of Nickelodeon as a child actor.
Like, part of me is just like, I'm upset that this has defined your whole life, but I'm also just very proud that she's doing such good work to take care of children in the future.
Yeah.
Like, I think she is, like, probably the biggest reason why, like, children actors are going to be treated better.
Oh, yeah, that's a good way to look at it. But yeah, it was the very risky move to replace 2 out of the 3 female characters and replace them with Quinn, who was, up until that point, a background minor character.
Yeah, like...
And Lola, a completely new character.
Yeah.
Very risky.
Well, they had Lola and Nicole at the same time, which helped. Like,
okay, so it wasn't like a complete swap.
No.
It was like a slow...
Yeah.
Okay.
So
like a gradual
that give
change.
them... Yeah, exactly. And obviously Quinn was there the whole time, but, like...
Yeah.
They had to change Quinn's character. Otherwise, there's no way that would have worked.
Quinn's character's cool for, like, 2 episodes. Oh, fun, weird science experiments. Okay.
I think she borderline turns into a normal person. And by the movie, she absolutely is.
By the movie, she absolutely is. But there are still some episodes, like, deeper into the run of that show where, like, she releases, like, a chemical and they're all quarantined in her dorm room.
Yeah. Oh. It's also, like, the reason they didn't get to go on the beach day. They got lost at another beach.
Quinn, like, pretty much, like, roofied them.
Yeah.
And they fell asleep for, like, 3 hours.
One of the things I wrote in my notes is, like, because my first thought was just, like, oh, I want to talk about how Logan and Quinn made each other better people. And, like, Logan, it's so clear because he was just, like, a douchebag. And he becomes so much less a douchebag and, like, develops feelings.
Right? Yeah.
Whereas, like, Quinn... in my head, like, her main problem is just being quirky. It's just like...
She was also, like, one-dimensional.
She was one-dimensional, but, like, to say someone's better because they're less conventionally weird feels like a bad message. But then you bring up, she roofied people. She tested on people, and there's, like... I think that is more so why she's improved as a character. But, like, I guess the question that I wanted to bring up is bullying... good sometimes.
Of course.
Like, because I think
they did bully her though in that show.
Yeah,
they were talking to her. It's like, Quinn, maybe don't mention that you do these things. It's like, why? Because people find it weird.
Yeah, the whole robot episode is like they're making fun of her behind her back, and then she finds out, and then she leaves.
Yeah.
Which, like, first of all, they're all awful for doing that. It was mostly Logan, but still. But actually, I forgot where I was going with that.
Alright, I will say, like, one thing about this show is that it doesn't rely as much, and because it's like a story that has a start and an end, and the characters evolve over time, they rely less on like side characters than I feel like iCarly, Drake, and Josh did.
Yeah,
like
especially iCarly. Like,
yeah,
season 1 and 2, they'll just introduce a new side character with another quirky thing,
right? And then you forget about him a couple episodes later, and they're never there.
The whole conceit of iCarly is them commenting on weird different people. Like, that's how it started.
But like, I feel like with Zoey 101, it's just like this 5 or 6, I guess 6 or 7. I count Dustin.
Any side
just
character,
that cast.
Like, they had like good actual plot. Like,
and
Danielle Monet's character when she was dating Chase.
Right. They're just like between Chase and Zoey. Like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And even she comes back later when they do the balloon episode.
Oh, yeah,
and she has Zoe's balloon with her secret in it, and she's like blackmailing her.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That's an evolution of her character the last time. Whereas like iCarly would just have Jeremy, and he would just cough and sneeze.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
It's so one note. And
it just shows you the difference when you actually focus on the characters instead of like focusing on making it funny.
Yeah.
And that's no way is right, no way is wrong, but it's just the difference between the shows.
Absolutely.
Like Zoey 101, I can only think of like a few side characters, but even those people are throughout the seasons, like Coco, the dorm advisor. They had one of the guys, I don't know his name.
Coco, I felt like was a bad character to write in. If I was in the writer room, I would have gotten rid of Coco.
I agree with you there.
Like, because it also, like, a lot of the jokes are just either like unlovable woman or a person that eats too much or like doesn't take care of their body, and then just like being inappropriate with children. Like, I think they find her bra at one point.
Right, yeah.
And they're making jokes about it, but also, why do you have a bra on television? Like, on a kid's show, rather. Like
Dan Schneider.
In 2 words, Dan Schneider.
Let me summarize that. Yeah, I would have gotten rid of her. They also had the nerds, the cast of nerds were recurring throughout like the whole series.
Oh yeah.
One of the names was Firewire. They like torture him one episode to get information.
Yeah.
He's even in the season finale.
Really?
Being down bad. Yeah, there was a girl who got caught on a fence and all the nerds are like, she can't run away. And they all just run after it, like, yeah. But, you know, they pay respect to those minor characters.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone
Sushi Rocks guy.
Yeah, I love Sushi Rocks.
Even a minor character like that had character development when his place burned down.
Like,
and we learn about
everyone cared about that. Like, that was like I felt, as a viewer, I felt personally just like, oh no, this is awful.
Because we know him.
Yeah,
he's not just like in one episode and that's it. Dean Rivers was great. He had some funny moments. Some not good side characters. That gym teacher was just weird.
Yeah.
The one that would just yell
I wouldn't
at them.
even argue like Stacy. Like, it was just making fun of people with a lisp.
Yeah, Stacy was kind of like a minor, really, character.
Which, like, I don't know how I feel about it. To my shame, I've been watching a lot of Big Bang Theory.
Okay.
And they have one character with a lisp, Kripke. And, like, I really like that they hate on him because he's just a bad person. And then occasionally they'll throw in a lisp joke.
Sure, yeah.
Like, I feel like that's a much better way. Because also, like, the characters aren't making fun of him, like, whatever. It'll be like, hey, Zoey, something. And it's just like, I'm sorry, I don't understand. Hey, Zoey, why are we thumping? Like,
oh, you're just making fun of
it was like very quick, like, one-off things that's just like, okay, they're addressing the elephant in the room, maybe. But with Stacy, it was just like, we're just gonna pick on the girl with the lisp.
Yeah, I mean, they picked on her a lot, not just like exclusively for the lisp, but there was like an episode on Spring Break where like she was waiting and no one picked her up. Do you remember that episode? I don't know why they were like on campus during spring break, and like Stacy was there because nobody came to get her.
This is a lesson for you kids. If you're not like if you're not under the conventional norms of society, you deserve to be treated poorly.
You are an outcast.
You are a second-class citizen.
But like as far as that's pretty much it for Zoey 101, like minor characters. Michael had that girlfriend, Lisa. That was super.
I don't even remember her.
Yeah, that was like a couple episodes. That was the episode where Mr. Beast stole ideas from the show. There was a episode where they put their hand on the van.
Yeah. Oh, that's also another classic sitcom thing. Like,
is it?
Yeah. A lot of episodes will have like a keep your hand on the whatever. I think I watched an episode of Chowder where they did it. I remember, no one has seen this show, but I highly recommend Troll Hunters. They did an episode. But I'd be willing to bet 20% of kids sitcoms from our time had one episode on like that.
All right.
I can't back that up right now, but I feel like it's true.
There's no stats we can get that are readily available. But they just, so that was like their relationship formed because they were next to each other on the van. And I'm like, some relationships weren't as good as others.
Yeah.
They can't all be like Chase and Zoe, Logan Quinn. The Chase and Zoe one was like the main plot thread of the series.
It was also like so classic sitcom.
Classic sitcom. Oh, he's about to tell her he loves her. Oh no, his phone died.
Oh, she's about to tell him that she loves him.
Her phone.
He's kissing someone else.
Her phone fell in a fountain, and then the next season. So that's how it ended.
Yeah.
So season 2 ending was that big episode where they were at
the
Logan's dad's house, the Gender Defenders. They were filming that reality show.
Yeah.
They had those like super high tech smartphones. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Tech mates.
Yeah.
And Chase texts Zoe like "I love you" or something, but her phone vibrates off the edge into a fountain because it fell out of her pocket. And then that's it. The end credits. Like that's the season.
It's stupid, but I do feel like, especially for its time, that's like the perfect way to end that season.
And then the next season 3 opening, that's when he's kissing Rebecca. So it goes right from that to like, okay, summer vacation, we come back, what's going to happen? He just said, I love you or whatever. He's got a girlfriend.
Do you think he knew that the phone got fizzled out, or did he think that he just got like ghosted?
There's no way. I would assume like, if I text somebody that and they don't respond, I assume I got ghosted.
Yeah.
Who assumes that her phone fell out of her pocket and vibrated into a fountain?
Well, I figured that there might be like a conversation where they're calling over someone. It's like, oh my goodness, no, my phone, like, it got destroyed. I couldn't find it. And it's just like, oh, okay. And then you can make the decision of whether or not to tell her what you said.
It's so like
that's
annoying.
what I would figure would happen.
As a viewer, I get somebody watching. I'm like, dude, just tell her. You already texted her. Just tell her. But it's like they're so close, but then something happens to like distance them.
No, I know that for a fact that I could text a girl that I like her, and if for some reason it disappears, I don't think I would have the nerve to ask right after again.
Okay.
There's something just like a part of it that can't be explained, of just like you're almost looking for an excuse to live in that like not knowing area. Especially
Right.
like Chase and Zoe were very much best friends. Mm-hmm. Like I would say more so than she was with Lola, he was with Michael. Like they hung out so. I think like they probably knew more about like Chase and Michael. They knew each other more intimately. Like probably had talks, whatever. But like a lot of the scenes of just hanging out are Zoe and Chase, which is just like
That's what I love about the show.
yeah. They're adorable.
But it's annoying as a viewer. Like, they're so close, and
Yeah.
then something happens. Let's talk about... I love the show. The beginning's great for the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the opposite of Drake and Josh, where, like, the beginning's rough, then it gets better.
Right.
Beginning for the show's great, and then it falls apart. Season 4, Chase is only in 2 episodes. So let's talk about this. Season 3... Zoe moves to England to go to a dorm school over there. Mm-hmm. Chase is like annoyed at her. He doesn't tell her to stay. He doesn't tell her how he feels about her. So she goes. Mm-hmm. Then she's like, I can't come back. So then the next season, he goes.
Yeah.
And she comes back. Are
Yeah.
you kidding me?
Yeah.
So then they kind of shout. Chase is like not a character in the last season. Mm-hmm. He's in the first episode and he's in the finale. Mm-hmm. That's it.
That's insane.
So they have to adjust that. It wasn't planned, by the way. He had to go to school in real life.
Oh, okay.
So that was not something they had in mind. So that was just kind of like ad-lib by them. Mm-hmm. But they replaced Chase's character with James.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And he sucks.
Yeah.
Because there's no depth to him.
No.
He just kind of like takes Chase's role, but he's not Chase. So it just doesn't work as a viewer.
It's like when That 70s Show, the main character, I think his name is like Topher Grace or something like that, who plays Eric.
Yes.
Like,
he plays Eddie Brock on Spider-Man.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Tobey Maguire ones, yeah.
So like he leaves the show for like 2 seasons, and it's just not fun to watch anymore.
It's so yeah, and you know it's frustrating. We watched 3 seasons. Zoe and Chase try to get together. Mm-hmm. They swap, go to England. He goes to England. She comes back, and then an eepisode later, she's got a boyfriend. Yeah. How is it that it just as a viewer, there's no payoff for that. Yeah. And like this guy, he's really just copy paste. He's inserted in the role of Chase. He's even in their dorm with Michael and Logan. Like he's totally taking Chase's role, and it's just not as a viewer. It just doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
And then when Chase comes back, she just cuts ties with him immediately. Like he's gone. That's it. It just felt like they didn't know what to do and just made mistakes there.
I think it's more so they knew what they wanted to do and they didn't care about any other details. Just like, okay, but we want them to end together now. Well, we can write this guy off. Don't think about it too hard. Just we can do it.
James gives her a necklace. She takes the necklace. Oh, Chase is back. Bye. Gotta go.
Okay, we are getting to the halfway point, and also I want to do this before we get any further because. Okay. So because we had that trivia night, and you kept on saying like if we did Zoey 101 trivia, I'd slam down like.
I would finesse Zoey 101 trivia.
So I wanted to do a little Zoey 101 quiz for you.
Oh, on the spot. Okay.
And part of the reason that I wanted to do this sooner rather than later is because you danced around a lot of the topics that are either in this quiz or were going to be, and I decided not to put them in.
Oh, awesome. So just for the record, he's not showing me these questions or answers. This is a legitimate quiz.
This is a pop quiz.
This is a pop quiz.
Of like, I would say increasing difficulty.
Okay, so you start off easy, you get harder. Okay, let's see what I can do.
15 questions.
Oh my gosh.
So, first of all, what does PCA stand for?
Pacific Coast Academy.
Okay. Do you know what the mascot of PCA is? I feel like you could probably get it, but they basically never say it on the show.
Oh, the mascot. A dolphin.
Very close. It was
sea
a
lion.
stingray.
Stingray. Oh, yeah. I knew
it was
something
makes
aquatic.
sense, but like I imagine few people would be able to guess it.
Oh man, I'm falling apart here.
No, it's all right. The next one's easy. What is the name of the juice in Zoey 101 they all drink?
Blix.
Yep, Blix.
I was like, juice? What are you talking about? But yeah.
I guess it was like a sports drink.
Blix, that was the hand on the van episode. Right,
Yeah,
that was
right,
like
yeah.
their branding, yeah.
What instrument does Michael play?
Flute.
Correct. What subject is Logan secretly good at?
Chemistry.
I didn't even remember that.
There was an episode where Zoe was not doing good in chemistry, and the teacher's like, I have a tutor for you. He's one of my brightest students. And it was Logan. She's like, he
Right.
sucks. And the person, he's the best in the class.
That's insane. Who is the owner of Sushi Rocks? I almost said it too when we were talking about Sushi Rocks. And I was like, wait, I can't say anything. I feel like I'm having you confront just like all the...
No, Sushi Rocks. I know this guy.
Do you want me to give you the first letter?
Yeah.
K.
Kazu?
Kazu.
Kazu.
I was
Okay, that's
very
close
close.
enough.
I'll count it as a win.
Okay, I'll take that.
What state is Nicole from?
Nicole, what state? I don't think I know this one.
As a hint, do you remember the Halloween episode where they're all wearing different costumes?
Yeah, what was she? Was she like Marilyn Monroe? No, that was Zoe.
That was Zoe.
Oh, Wizard of Oz, Kansas.
Yep.
That was a really good hint because on surface level, that doesn't really give anything away.
But like she makes a whole point of like she is Dorothy. Because she's from Kansas. What is the site where Chase and Michael submit their cartoons?
Oh, okay. Their cartoons. They do the cartoon. They're bowling pins.
Yeah.
It's like a Saturday Night Live spin-off, right?
Not in the name anyway.
Oh.
This one I don't have a hint for you.
No, there's no way you can give me a hint on this one. I'll give myself like 10 seconds.
All right.
I don't know, like Saturday morning cartoons?
Toon Juice.
Toon Juice. That's a clever one.
Yeah. Oh, who becomes class president?
Mark Del Figaro.
Mark Del Figaro.
Vote for me. I'll make things better. Vote for me.
Zoe and Chase both drop out of the race. Another just... I can't say that I can think of another sitcom that does it, but it's very just sitcom-esque.
It's very just sitcom-esque. Yeah, like...
Why did you drop out of the race?
Because I thought you were...
I dropped out for you! And then Mark wins by default.
Yeah, which is funny because his campaign sucked.
Yeah.
It was just him and Quinn was like, vote for Mark.
Quinn was such a good girlfriend. Like, bent over backwards, so supportive. Actually, I don't even know if he wanted to be class president.
Vote for me.
I wouldn't be surprised.
He had like 3 people at his rally.
What is Coco's favorite food?
Ravioli. Canned ravioli.
Yep. What does Quinn secretly like to eat?
Baby food.
Baby. In the episode where Logan, again just being a terrible villainous person, puts a camera in a teddy bear to have in the girls'
Right,
dorm
he puts it in
room
the girls' lounge. Yeah.
so that he can spy on them.
Yep. I think it was like cream squash too, if you want the specific flavor of baby food.
That's awesome that you remember that. And then you also mentioned the secret balloon, or
Yes.
Zoe's balloon. What was Zoe's secret?
Well, okay, when she was a kid, she was like modeling. She was on like the sunscreen.
Yep. She was
having
the
her
baby.
like shorts getting like ripped off by like a dog or something, or like a shirt.
I think explicitly what they said is that she was just naked.
Was she naked? Okay.
I don't think they showed like an actual thing, but like everyone knew about the
secret. She was on like a sunscreen bottle.
Do you know what Lola's secret was?
Oh, okay. So she's telling her secret, and
this one, if you remember, I'll be
okay.
very impressed.
She couldn't put the bra on by herself.
That's not what I have here, but that does sound familiar.
She had to get her mom's help or something.
Maybe.
What was yours?
She's afraid of people in big costumes. Like I think a mascot shows up.
Okay,
and she
I might have
gets
had someone
terrified.
else's then.
I don't know.
I'm gonna search that up afterwards because I'm onto something there.
Okay. What is the name of the boarding school Zoe and Chase attend in season 4?
Oh God.
Again, I some of these I don't expect you to get, but it was more so seeing if
I know they attend one.
I I try to make it very hard on purpose. So many quizzes is just like, oh, what is Zoe's brother's name?
Okay, you mean is the word academy in it?
I believe so. I just went for the main name.
York?
No.
No, I don't think I got this.
Covington.
Covington. I've read that
The
somewhere.
fact that
like,
that's familiar
up.
to you, that's impressive alone. Because I was just like, this means nothing to me. It sounds like Coventry from Twitches. That's
no,
what,
like when I was
my
like
mind went.
going through the show, I read Covington somewhere.
Okay.
So that's.
And then last but not least, in an episode that I don't even remember, I believe it's called Dance Contest. Zoey reveals her grandmother was part of what dance group?
Is this a real dance group or is this like a made up show one?
You definitely know this dance troupe. Not a person in America, I think, that doesn't.
Dance group?
Or troupe, whatever you want to call it. A group, a profession perhaps, that is known for dancing of a certain style.
I'm lost.
The Rockettes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Damn, I got cooked on this.
Again, first of all, it was difficult for me to find hard questions, but when I did, I was just like, these are would really test like how deeply you know.
Yeah.
And I don't think I would have gotten as many questions right. I dare the viewers to be
that. I'm onto something with that secret though.
Yeah, there's got to be something there. Because again, I did remember the sun lotion thing.
Yeah.
I didn't even remember that anyone else had any secrets. I actually didn't even remember the balloon was part of it. I just remember her standing up in front of people and was like, I was a naked baby. Boom, deal with it. And then I think they all did the Macarena.
It was like a copper tone spin. Like they can't use the word, so it was like a something. All right, that was good. I gotta to review up on the trivia though.
Yeah, so this is just my prep for you as we find a Zoey 101 trivia.
Yeah. Will there be a Zoey 101 trivia night though? That'd be great.
I hope so. But like the place that we went, it doesn't look like they have anything of our interest anytime soon.
No, and it was like a Kahoot thing. I want like an old fashioned. You write it down, give it to the next table, they grade it.
That's fun. Yeah, I was kind of disappointed by the fact that
kind of half-assed.
Kahoot.
Yeah. Which
we talked about in the previous episode. So that if you guys haven't seen that,
go watch the Drake and Josh.
Yeah. Another thing that I wanted to talk about. There was obviously the main show, and there was the sequel. Mm-hmm. But there was something in between.
Okay, I think I know where you're going with this.
Where I think it's a YouTube video that was posted on Dan Warp called "What Was on Zoey's Tape."
Right, 10 years after that time capsule episode. Mm-hmm. That was cool.
That was cool, but I rewatched it for this episode. It's honestly so funny. Do you remember anything about it?
Yeah, so Chase is ready to propose to his current girlfriend, who does look a lot like Zoey, and Michael comes rushing in, and I'm pretty sure Michael looks terrible.
Yeah, he's dirty because he just dug
it up. Chase, you gotta watch it. So he gets it out, watches it. Do they show us what was on it?
No, they couldn't find a DVD player, so Michael's like, I wrote it all down for you. It's like, what are you waiting for? Read it. And she's just like, we were about to do something. Not right now.
Yeah. And meanwhile, the thing that they were supposed to do was a proposal.
Yeah. My favorite line, because there's just a bunch of things where they just like, basically like, treat this woman like garbage, even though she didn't do anything wrong. What does she say? Oh, you said you were my soulmate. No. I said everyone has a soulmate.
Oh my gosh.
Which is like, that's what he was saying as he was about to propose. No, he fully was just like, yeah, no, I'm still in love with Zoey.
See, but now, so that the beginning, Zoey 101, the middle, this little series segment, and then the end part, Zoey 102, that doesn't fit in.
No.
With Zoey 102. That completely ignores that.
Because, I mean, I guess he just like never found Zoey, I guess.
So weird though, because like in that Zoey 102, he ghosted her. Like he stopped responding to her.
Right.
So that doesn't make sense.
Also,
because he was so excited to hear what she had to say about him.
The other thing is he already knew that she liked him because they dated.
Right.
It was for what, like an episode and a half, like the one that was gonna start the next season and then got canceled because Jamie Lynn Spears got pregnant.
Yeah.
They were dating, so like, of course she liked you at some point.
Yeah, and the show also ended on Zoe saying, "I'm going to Hawaii this summer. Do you want to come with?" And he's like, "Yeah." And apparently,
she doesn't go to Hawaii.
We find out she goes. He doesn't.
No, I thought it was her who stood him up. I thought that was.
Sorry. He was going to Hawaii. He invited her. She stood him up.
Something like whatever happened. Chase was in Hawaii. Zoe didn't show, even though she said that she would.
Which is like, I don't like that. Like, we watched 4 seasons of the show to build up. Oh, they're gonna go on vacation together. They're together.
Yeah.
And then we find out, scratch that. None of that ever happened. It's like, it's almost like you're undoing.
Yeah.
The first series.
Again, they're like trying to do it so that the movie can have a good arc, but I also view that as spitting in the face of the fans.
I do as well.
Like, yeah, I don't need to explain why that's just.
It works for the show.
Yeah.
It works for that individual movie they're making. It doesn't work for the legacy of the entire show. Yeah.
I fully agree. Yeah.
That's a mistake they do on these reboots, reunion shows.
Also, what did you think about the brief Lola Chase arc that was for an episode?
Oh, that was funny. That was just a plot device to show how Zoe really felt about Chase, because she was jealous but not at the same time. She was jealous, but she didn't stop Lola from doing it. Mm-hmm. And it's okay, it's just a plot device to show how they feel about each other.
And then Lola is also just oh yeah, I hope you get Zoe, and then they don't follow up on it.
Nope.
She could have been oh yeah. Zoe seemed really jealous. I think Lola could have solved that.
She could have, yeah. They didn't. The show didn't really use Lola though. Lola was there.
Yeah, which is kind of just Victoria Justice's MO apparently.
Yeah, one of what was it? A couple favorite episodes of mine that stand out. Mm-hmm. First one was season 4, the coffee ban.
Yeah,
little prohibition take. They banned coffee, so they set up a secret coffee shop in their dorm. Quinn's on a hill in a sniper position, shooting out people's cups to sabotage their coffee thing.
I forgot about that.
She's literally, she has some sort of high-tech weapon she's made.
Yeah.
She's shooting holes in the cups. People are drinking. Vince is there. He's drinking coffee and his cup explodes.
Oh, that's great. So, any other ones stand out?
The first couple ones. Oh, the Jet X commercial one.
Yeah, I think that would probably go as mine.
Where they're just in their movie class or whatever, and their teacher's giving away a scooter, a motorized scooter.
3 scooters.
3 of them.
For the whole
team.
Whatever the team was, yeah.
Yeah, that was a classic
one. I also, I think it was also not just classic, but well written of Logan was very much used as an antagonistic device.
Yep.
He hired a whole movie crew and whatever.
Yep.
And then just I've seen it a lot since, but I guess it was my first time seeing where it's just they're filming something, and then they use all that outtake stuff as the actual film. I guess if I'd seen other things like that before,
it had a good message to it.
Yeah,
it's you don't need to spend all this money to make a good commercial or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm looking through the episodes now. Right. Okay. So one of the episodes that I liked was the wrestling episode, and that's kind of controversial today. It was when Zoe wanted to wrestle.
Right.
But there was only a guys team because the school used to be a guy-only school.
Right.
So they put Zoe on the guys team, and nobody wants to wrestle her because they don't want to hurt a girl. Except for this one guy who just doesn't give a shit and puts her in a hospital.
Really? I don't.
She was injured from it.
Oh my God.
And then I think Chase and maybe some of the other guys stood up and said, "Dude, what are you doing?" And he also beat them up. Chase getting beat up is a constant throughout the series.
Yeah, I mean, he starts the very beginning of the show by driving his bike into a flagpole.
Yeah, and falling off. He really fell for her.
I think he was really good at physical comedy, so I think they just really wanted to capitalize on it.
Another one that stands out to me was the rib episode, where they have a rib cook-off.
Oh, yeah.
They just have a bunch of extra ribs. They do a rib cook-off, and they get this celebrity chef to judge, but only it's not a celebrity chef. It's a guy impersonating as the celebrity chef so that he can get free food, and they arrest him. That's how it ends.
I don't think that's worth arresting over.
They arrest him.
Unless it was some big long-term scheme he's been doing for years. I think just pretending to be a food tester to eat some food.
But crime is funny, so the cop cars pull up, he gets arrested.
It's not like when frickin' iCarly ran child labor,
Oh, to make the penny teas, yeah.
I guess nothing truly compares to that, but like I'd probably be mad at the guy, maybe give him a fine, but not arrested.
And then another one I kind of mentioned before, when Logan gets cut off and he becomes poor, and he like can't do his laundry. People are like throwing tomatoes at him for like a couple bucks.
Oh, I liked the person auction one.
Okay, yeah.
Where Chase and Michael end up having to do stuff for like the teacher, and like that's fine. I think I don't know. It started to run into a little bit of the creepy stuff.
I didn't like that gym teacher. That gym teacher was just weird.
But then the three main girls were cheerleaders for Logan.
Yeah.
Zoe, Nicole, and
Lola. I think
Lola.
It definitely wasn't Dana.
No, and like sure, there's like you could talk about like the male fantasy or whatever, but it was funny when like they turned it on him and were just like cheering him for doing bad things, like you got rejected, REJE, like
yeah. They just made him so annoyed with it that he's just like, all right, stop.
Like that was fun.
The show also had some great cameos. We had Drake Bell,
right?
Jeanette McCurdy,
yep,
on separate episodes. Miranda Cosgrove.
Imagine just all in the same episode.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. And yes, they actually had Drake Bell as Drake, like performing for their spring fling.
Daniela Monet, Miranda Cosgrove.
Miranda Cosgrove was Paige Howard, who was like some like really really smart scientist, and they make a device that like explodes or something.
Yeah, was it like Quinn was jealous or something?
Quinn was jealous because it was like portrayed that Paige was smarter than Quinn.
Yeah,
which
you can't have that.
Can't have that. And then Jeanette McCurdy was Trisha Kirby.
Yes.
Who was that like
bully girl
who was like way older than the grade she was in because she kept getting left back, and then she like had a thing for Dustin.
Yeah.
And Zoe and Chase were just trying to get her off of him.
And then
and then she had a thing for Chase. Yeah. And then that made Zoe upset.
And that it also made Dustin upset. I think he tried to fight
Chase. Yeah, he showed up to his dorm.
Takes off his shirt.
Yep, shirt coming off.
It's Dustin was great. Not Reese, dang it. You and me, Matthews.
Yep. Dustin was a good character as well.
Yeah, they didn't put him in too much stuff.
He wasn't in the reboot, but when the cast has reunions in real life, he's always there. So he's cool with them. Some people just don't like the reboots for good reason.
Yeah. Oh, one thing that I also wanted to talk about, also in the movie. So, one of the things that they mention is like, Stacy and Mark have a podcast that's like catching...
True crime.
Is a true crime, exactly. And their latest one is... Do you remember the name of like the serial killer, like the name he was given?
No, but it was like a play on something. Like, you know how there's like the Golden State Killer? He was something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, was he like a strangler? He had a weird way of killing people.
Yeah.
Like a signature way.
Whatever it was, like, it started to become like a running bit. They kept on mentioning it. And, like, even one of the reasons I didn't like Stacy is that she got mad at Mark for not working during the wedding.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing here at the rehearsal dinner?
Because this murderer...
You should be looking for a murderer.
This murderer was, like... I don't think it was stated directly, but it was very strongly implied that this murderer was Zoe's fake boyfriend.
Yes.
Hugo something.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Like, that was, like, the climax where, like, she's trying to do the wedding and the reality TV show thing, and then Mark and Stacy thinks that he's the murderer.
This guy's the murderer.
So then just, like, completely interrupts the whole wedding, and it's just like, we found the murderer. And... Is
it him or not? Like, it's not confirmed one way or the other.
It is confirmed.
Is it? Okay.
So in the end credits...
Oh, end credits, okay.
What happens is, like, everyone's packing up after the wedding, and Mark and Stacy go up to the guy. It's like, so sorry, we, like, accused you of being a murderer.
So, no, it's okay. He's got, like, that Kiwi accent.
And then he opens up the trunk of his car, and there's just a body in it.
Okay, I didn't peep the end credits.
Which, honestly, my headcanon, I reject that. I really wished that Mark was the killer.
Oh, that'd be even better.
At first, I was just like, okay, they're talking about it enough. Someone is probably going to be revealed to be the killer. And when Stacy yells at him, he's just like, well, you don't know. Maybe the killer's at this wedding right now. And I thought that would have been a much cooler thing of just like him being the killer.
It also kind of fits Mark's character. I mean,
that's what I was going to say.
One show like didn't make him out to be a murderer, but he was a bad person in Zoey 101. Like he cheated on Quinn multiple times. He cheated on his original girlfriend to be with Quinn.
He also gives the kind of vibe of
really
if you're
quiet.
really good friends with him, he'd tell you what day to not go into school. That's
Totally.
so like I feel like it would make sense, especially because like his wife is like dumping on him, like that he might just snap and like I don't know.
Yeah, that's a tough gig. being
I
married to
view
Stacey.
Mark as a man who would snap, given everything that like I don't know.
Oh, I got a trivia question for you.
Oh, okay.
In the Zoey 101, what is Del Figaro? What was Del Figaro
Of
said
the
to have
figs.
meant? Of the figs, yes. I guess Del
Yeah.
Fig. I don't know.
Is Figalo? I guess that's just a question of whether or not Figalo is an actual word.
It's just that's
Because it
headcanon.
sounds like a very Nickelodeon name.
Del Figalo. Yeah.
Like,
It means of the figs.
it's just like, oh, we made a goofy guy. Let's add something that sounds weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, then it means of the figs. Just like a little cheek pinch.
Right.
I don't even know if me dragging across the mic,
The viewers are like, oh, turn the volume down.
and I'm not gonna edit that out.
Don't. But, other than that, like, there was just cool moments between Chase and Zoe, like, that whole series.
Yeah.
Like, there was, I forgot when it was, maybe like one of the season finales. They're just at a lake, just talking. And she's like, you're lame at skipping rocks.
Yeah, it's very wholesome
And it's so cool,
content. Yeah.
The other shows don't have moments like that.
No, I think it's probably
And when they do, it feels super forced.
that's true. But I think like their normal interactions, that's like ship bait, is probably some of the best I've seen in any show.
Yeah.
Like even like The Office, I think does very much the same thing. But I would argue that Zoey 101 might do it better.
Yeah.
Like at least
Like a
comparing
Jim and
best
Pam
to best.
comparison
Exactly.
to like Chase and Zoe. Yeah.
I think like the best like just normal but like shippy video would be picks from Zoey 101, not
Yeah.
from
They had so many moments like
Yeah.
that. Like there was one where there's like on the roof, just talking. Like it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then they kind of fumble it. Like the beginning's great. They fumble it because he goes to England.
Yeah.
It's just it doesn't.
It's something that will kill a show. It's just
It did.
It's not even their choice.
No.
Sad to see it happen.
Yeah, he had real life school commitments, which he said was a regret. He regretted doing school then.
Wow.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like I would feel the same way if I was in his position. Where like I wouldn't go to school and then I would regret it.
Yeah. Dude, we're forgetting another major cameo in this show.
What? Who?
Someone, see if you can guess it, someone from the Drake and Josh world.
Was not Craig and Eric.
Nope.
No, that was iCarly. Drake and Josh wasn't.
Mindy. Mindy was in Zoey
Oh,
101.
yes.
She stole Zoe's backpack idea.
Yes.
She was like bedazzling the backpacks and selling them, and she totally stole the idea.
Yeah, that
Backpacks by Stacy.
I hated that so much.
Yeah.
There's some plots where it's just like, I know that this is for a show. It's not real. I'm still upset with that character.
Yeah, and she was like a one and done. I think
Yeah.
that was like her only episode.
I will say, if you can get me to hate a character, you did a good job as a writer.
Sure.
And like, she was a very believable person.
Yeah, she just stole an idea
yeah.
and made money off of it.
Yeah. It was just like a douchebag. It was like, I don't know what you're talking about. No, I didn't steal this from you. This is
Just
my
came
backpack.
to this. Yeah, came to me in a dream.
Yeah.
So that was another good cameo.
And believe it or not, we're reaching towards the end of our podcast.
What? No way.
So, any final thoughts on Zoey 101 and its affiliate spin-offs, if you want to call it that?
I don't know this show as well as I know Drake and Josh because I feel like Drake and Josh has been just played more. I like Zoey 101 as a show better though.
Yeah, I think I would stand by that too.
Yeah.
With all the things that we said, there's just a lot more care for quality.
But you know what it is? It's like there's not iconic memed Zoey 101 moments.
Yeah,
There's
no.
really nothing.
I would even say,
because it's,
I probably would rewatch Drake and Josh 3 times over before I'd rewatch Zoey 101.
yeah, and that
I
doesn't
have
mean
done
one's better than the other. That's not what you're saying. You're saying it's just like one is just more
Yeah.
iconic. But
It's
there's
like-
not as many like iconic moments or fun. Not even iconic. The Drake and Josh moments are just funny moments because it wasn't trying to be funny. It was trying to be serious.
I kind of view it as like there are some shows or whatever that you need to experience once and then like it stays with you and that's what you need from the show. And there are other shows that are very good at rewatchability.
Yeah.
Like for me, BioShock Infinite is like one of my favorite games. Even though I hated the gameplay, the story was great. I will never play that game again because there's nothing more I can get
You've
from
done
that.
it, yeah.
Whereas other shows, video games, or whatever, they retain their value almost exactly as it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see what you mean.
But it doesn't make either one necessarily more quality. Or in fact, I think I usually give greater qualities to the ones that like their purpose is done by like experiencing it as it is, because it's usually it has that more care or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's Zoey 101.
That's a wrap.
All right, so
We're a couple minutes out from filming, and we've just discovered something very important.
I've had to put up a retraction.
You're officially retracting. Let's talk about the trivia question.
So there was allegedly a trivia question in the podcast that states that Nicole's secret was she was afraid of big costumes.
Lola.
What did I say? Quinn? I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, that Lola was afraid of big costumes, and that was her secret. Put in the secret balloon. It is after a Google search, it has been revealed that this is not accurate.
Lola's secret was actually that she needed her mom's help to take off her first bra.
And we've all been there, gentlemen.
What I said 30 minutes ago.
So, I did not look at the episode. I took it from another quiz, which is my own fault, and I do deserve whatever. But it just goes to show that Jimmy knows his stuff. He knows his Zoey 101.
I needed that because I wasn't too hot on those questions. There were a couple that I was just.
This is a big win for Jimmy Hastings everywhere.
That was a good question.
All right, now it's goodbye for real.
All right, see ya.